We are on the verge of draft day, and yet the only person people seem to be talking about is some random 7'5" French guy who's been balling out in Europe. But who they're not focusing on is probably one of the most talented homegrown talent we've seen since Zion Williamson. Yes, that's how good this guy is. Now, who is this mystery man? Well, he's not much of a mystery, since he is projected second overall, possibly third, to either the Blazers or the Hornets. Yes, I am talking about Sterling Scoot Henderson. Now, if you've been watching college basketball, then you probably haven't heard about this guy, because he is one of the few, yet up-and-coming players who decided to forego college and head to a more pro league in the G League. Yes, Scoot Henderson has been playing for the G League Ignite for the last year instead of going to college, and honestly, that might be what's best for his career, because now he's playing against, he's got some experience against professionals, and he's not in that whack college system that doesn't always translate to the big leagues. Instead, he's continued to play the way he's always played. And, maybe that's better for him. Who knows? We haven't really seen too much talent from the G League go on and flourish in the NBA, for the simple fact that the G League hasn't been around that long, alright? So there's not too much proof of success coming from there, but there will be. I mean, he is not the only star to come into the G League in this draft. We've got Aswar and Amen Thompson, absolute studs, two twins who are projected 4th and 6th with their own, they're gonna be pretty good ball players, and they're also decided to skip out on college and play with professionals and make their own money. Now, of course, NIL deals exist, so that doesn't really factor into it as much, but what I'm getting at is that Scoot Henderson has been balling out with grown men. In fact, he had an exhibition match against Victor Wembanyama. Yes, that random French guy has a name. He had an exhibition match with him earlier this year, where his French team and I want to say Scoot Henderson's G League Ignite team went head-to-head in a beautiful battle. Both played amazingly. Some would argue that Scoot Henderson played better in the head-to-head, and honestly, he probably did. I mean, during one of the most anticipated non-NBA basketball matches of the entire year, Scoot Henderson showed up on ESPN. He got, in a full game's worth of minutes, 28 points on 11 for 21 shooting, 2 for 3 from the three-point, and 5 rebounds with 9 assists. Now, what did Victor Wembanyama do, his competition? Well, Victor went ahead and dropped 37, 11 for 20, and shot 7 for 11 from the three-point line. But a big factor that people seem to overlook when going back at this game is that Victor Wembanyama, at 7'5", only managed to get 4 rebounds. Scoot Henderson out-rebounded him, and the dude is a guard. Plus, 0 assists. But who is he really going to pass the ball to when he is the best player on this team? I mean, how many assists did Kobe get? Not too many, because he didn't really like to pass the ball. He didn't need to pass the ball. He was the best player. Same as Victor. Alright, I think we're getting away from the point, which is the fact that Scoot Henderson has the potential to be an all-NBA type of player. I mean, there are only 15 guys in NBA history who managed to average 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in their rookie year, and honestly, I believe that Scoot Henderson could be the 6th guy to do it. I mean, I'm sure if Scoot Henderson has a fantastic year, he'll probably get the Melo treatment, where they just give it to the more famous player, aka LeBron, or Victor Wembanyama in this case, and just give him the Rookie of the Year instead. But who knows? Maybe Victor gets hurt, maybe Scoot gets hurt. No one can predict injury, but I do think that Scoot Henderson has a real chance at not only being the Rookie of the Year, but maybe the best player in this draft class. Now, I say that while knowing that Victor Wembanyama is more talented than the guy, but he is at a lot higher chance of injuries. I mean, he's 7'5". It's what happens to big guys. They come in with all this hype, Kristaps Porzingis, and they just, it's hard for them to stay healthy. It makes sense. The human body was not made to be that tall. If Victor stays healthy, then yes, he'll probably have a better career. But I think that Scoot Henderson, just out longevities him. I think he'll be in the league longer. I think he'll be more reliable. He is the safer pick, but we all know San Antonio is not going to make the safer pick. They're going to risk it all with the foreign talent, which they have done time and time again. I mean, they love foreign players. Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, those guys won what? 3, 4, 5 rings with the Spurs. Fantastic. Spurs are a hell of a developmental program. If they got Scoot Henderson, I'm sure they'd make him into a star. But it's looking like Scoot isn't heading to the Spurs. In fact, he's probably heading to one of two teams, in either the Charlotte Hornets or the Trailblazers. Unless the Trailblazers trade their pick, which they might do by the time this video comes out. But as of now, the Trailblazers haven't traded their pick, so it's the Hornets and the Blazers. Alright, now Charlotte does currently hold the rights to the second overall pick. The only issue with that is that they have the tough decision of deciding between the college superstar Brandon Miller out of Alabama and this young G League Ignite guy in Scoot Henderson. Now, both are really talented, and they could go by need, in which case they'd probably go for, I don't know, Brandon Miller to be forward. You know, fill out the small forward role that, you know, Charlotte's been pretty lackluster in. Gordon Hayward's nice, but come on, he's kind of getting up there. He's very injury prone. He's not the guy he once was. So, and plus they already have LaMelo Ball at guard. Terry Rozier, I don't know if he's still there, but Scoot could outdo him. Anyway, if they go by need, then obviously they're going to pick Brandon Miller. They need more wing depth. But if they go by talent, Scoot Henderson has a higher ceiling. He is more talented. Honestly, it's an easy pick. If MJ were still the owner, I'm sure he'd go Scoot Henderson. I mean, the talent is there. You cannot pass on a guy like him. Unfortunately, Charlotte hasn't been the smartest when drafting. In fact, they've only drafted, 2 All-Stars since MJ bought the team. And Kemba Walker, 2 All-Stars in the top 10, I'd say. Kemba Walker and LaMelo Ball. Both have been the only players to pan out for the Charlotte Hornets as of recently. And Kemba Walker's not on the team anymore. LaMelo Ball, he is the only guy on the Hornets. I mean, Miles Bridges is coming back. So we'll see how Miles Bridges looks a year after being off. Who knows how he'll be. But honestly, if the Hornets have any chance at becoming a powerhouse in the next 5 to 10 years, they draft Scoot Henderson. Obviously, they probably won't. They're a pretty dumb organization. Which leaves the Portland Trailblazers. And who know if Scoot Henderson falls to 3, the Trailblazers have a very tough decision to make. Now, they've stated multiple times that they're not going to trade Damian Lillard if he does not want to be traded. And Damian Lillard has come out and said multiple times he does not want to be traded. He wants to stay in Portland and win in Portland, and he thinks he can do so. Now, that third pick is going to help one way or another. Now, what exactly is so intriguing about Scoot Henderson? Well, for starters, let's dive into it here. This guy has glorious handle. He's confident, gets to the rim, tenacious, and should be an impact starter day one. I doubt he'll play on the bench depending on what team he goes. He will probably be a starter for said team. Now, there are weaknesses to his game. He has some questionable defense, but I'm sure that'll develop as he plays in the league. And his long-range shooting isn't exactly what you would like to see out of a guard. But he is the best playmaker in this draft. Sorry to one of the Thompson twins. I know they're really good at playmaking. One of them, I can't tell you which one. But let's be real. Scoot Henderson is the best playmaker in this draft. He could be and probably will be the leader of his own playoff team eventually. So you want to draft this guy. I'm telling you, he should not go overlooked just because Wembanyama is in this draft. He will be the best player in this draft. You can come back in 10 years and tell me all about how I predicted the future of Scoot Henderson being the best player in this draft. All right. But that's all I wanted to say about that. Catch y'all later. Much love. Deuces.